Timing is everything in content creation, and the video made earlier on Cam Pring and his injury and how it could affect Bristol City, and predominantly in that video talking about Haydon Roberts and how he could, fill in that left back slot for Bristol City. A little bit redundant if Haydon Roberts is not at the football club and is not a Bristol City player, because it looks like Stockport County, who have an interest, well, it looks like have an interest in Haydon Roberts, and it has been widely reported this afternoon, and when this broke, that Stockport could well sign Haydon Roberts, which would be an interesting move for Bristol City. Talk a little bit about Stockport as well. Stockport third in the not in the National League. Christ, they were in the National League ages ago. In League One, they've had a nice steep rise, similar to Wrexham in a lot of ways, who will be facing off against next season. They finished third in League One last season. They lost to Leyton Orient in the playoff semi-finals. They were only 5 points off second place Wrexham. If I remember rightly, they're quite unlucky in the playoffs. If again, that might be there was a Charlie Kelman offside goal in the first leg, which was completely ridiculous, but still. So yeah, maybe a little bit hard done to, but they've had steady progression. Dave Chandler's a great manager. He's been there for a long time. Stockport also are very, very happy to pay, incredibly good wages for League One level. And I'm sure Haydon Roberts will command a relatively sizable chunk in terms of wages, and the transfer fee won't be ridiculously cheap for League One standards if Haydon Roberts was to move to League One. So that's the Stockport element. They do play with a back three, so Roberts, as I've mentioned in the video previously, I'd say his best centre back, his best position for Bristol City is as that left centre back role, which Stockport could be looking to fill. They've lost Fraser Horsfall, haven't they, to Blackpool? They've already made some strong signings for this division. Malik Mothersill, Teo Aiden, two that's standing out to me right now, and they've got good quality already. So they're a good team, and I think Haydon Roberts would be a fantastic addition for them. What does this mean for Bristol City, however? Look, we're already pretty light in that left sort of defence, left part of defence, and Haydon Roberts leaving would just make us a lot weaker. And if no additions were made and Haydon Roberts were to leave, well, we'd play with Elijah Morrison as a fullback, as a left fullback, and that would not be sufficient. And Haydon Roberts, who's made 58 appearances for Bristol City in his 2 seasons so far, and that's in all competitions, and 53 in the league in 2 seasons, and 30 last season. It was a mainstay, really. Well, maybe not mainstay, but definitely made a lot of appearances. Was someone who could Manning would count on. If he's not there, that does pose a bit of a problem in terms of senior players on the left-hand side of defence, and Haydon Roberts was certainly one of them. And it would pose a problem, and it would probably mean that Bristol City would have to dip into the transfer market, because even if Cam Pring was fit, you don't really want Elijah Morrison as your backup at this point in time. Untested, raw. It's just not cut out for this division just yet, and you don't want to be putting all that pressure on him in terms of you don't want him to be that sort of, I don't know, immediate backup, maybe third choice, maybe a loan, something like that. I think would benefit Elijah Morrison more. But I think at this moment in time, if Haydon Roberts was to leave, maybe signing an adequate backup to Cam Pring once Cam Pring's back in. Also signing someone who's maybe a little bit more suited to Gerhard Struber's style of play, maybe someone with a profile similar to that of Cam Pring would, I think, be a better fit into Gerhard Struber's system. So I think if the offer's right, if it looks like we are okay with it, and Haydon Roberts is okay with the move, and considering that we're going to Haydon Roberts' last year of this contract, and if he doesn't want to stay, and there have been murmurings along the way, and nothing but speculation that maybe he misses Derby and stuff like that. Maybe a move back a little bit further north wouldn't be the worst thing for him, and he'd play a lot of games in League One for a very, very good team in League One, who'd probably be winning most weeks, and definitely be in a promotion chase. Surely Stockport, it'd be disappointing for them if they weren't. So I think it'd be a good move for Haydon Roberts, and I think if Bristol can get an adequate replacement, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Arguments to be made about his quality. Could we upgrade in terms of a deputy to Campering. If we do sign someone and Haydon Roberts was moved on, I wouldn't say no to that. I don't think, and I think that would be a pretty sensible thing for Bristol City. Bristol City. Did I say that? Honestly, too many hours of recording videos today. Yeah, I think it wouldn't be the worst move for Bristol City if we were to move Haydon Roberts on and bring in someone else. There have been a few murmurings in terms of left backs. There was that Colm guy who I'm vaguely linked with, but worked for Struber before. That may be someone on the list, but I would be very, 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 very shocked if Haydon Roberts was to move on and there wasn't a replacement lined up for him straight away. I think that would be pretty silly of us, and I don't think we'd be that stupid to not to do that. But if Haydon Roberts, I don't think we'd be keen to lose Roberts. I think we'd probably, would we offer him a new contract? Would you offer him a new contract right here, right now? I'd be less keen. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough from Haydon Roberts in 2 years at Bristol City. And if we're not going to play with a back three, well, I don't think he's going to be playing in his natural position or his best position on the pitch. So it might well be time to move on. Let me know your thoughts on this transfer rumour. Haydon Roberts might well be on his way to Stockport, which I reiterate, I think it would be a fantastic move for him. League One, top of League One, pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot, if not a real push for the automatic promotion places, and he'd probably play a lot of games. And he's been here in this position before with Derby, and they just missed out on the playoffs when he was there. He did really well for Derby in League One, so he's been in that division before. He knows it. Dave Sharn's a really good manager. He'd work on a really good manager. I think it just ticks a lot of boxes. We'd get a little bit of money. We could get a replacement, maybe even upgrade on Haydon Roberts, who maybe isn't quite cut out for what we want at the moment. I think there's a lot of things going that could work for Bristol City, and I think the main thing is if we do sell him, the replacement has to be an upgrade, and has to be, I think, a better fit into what Struber wants. Someone with the athleticism of Campering. As I mentioned earlier, the profile has to be that similar to what Campering has, and I think that has to be the aim with a potential replacement. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Keep safe. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts on Haydon Roberts potentially moving him on. Would you move him on if you were, on the hierarchy in charge of the decision? And yeah, would you say fine? Let's spend a bit of money. Maybe a replacement costs more, but we still recoup a little bit of that transfer fee by moving Haydon Roberts on. But yeah, would you move him on for a replacement anyway? Thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.